So,
Phil, thank you. Bay Area lawmaker has a unique plan to help California dig out of its budget hole, legalize marijuana, and tax it. But as Don Knapp shows us, some say that the revenue is not worth the problems.
They're called sin taxes, the taxes people pay on cigarettes, alcohol, and gambling. To this list, State Assemblyman Tom Amiano wants to add marijuana and decriminalize it with regulations like those for alcohol. The reason? Money.
It also is good public policy, and of course the economics of it, if you do the math, cannot be disputed.
The indisputable math is this. Currently, $200 million in medical marijuana sales, taxed at 10%, generate $20 million in tax revenue. But illegal marijuana, said to be California's biggest cash crop, is said to be worth $14 billion. Amiano estimates a $50 an ounce tax would bring in $1.3 billion to California.
I think it sends a message that marijuana is okay.
Rusty Henlon counsels adults, young people, and teens, many addicted to marijuana. He says he too was addicted to the drug for 20 years, and he says it put his life on hold.
I got married, I had kids, all the good stuff in my life has happened since I stopped smoking weed on a daily basis.
6 years ago, I stopped smoking marijuana.
What's Michael Daly think about making marijuana legal so it can be taxed?
As far as taxing or not taxing, legalizing or not legalizing, I think the bigger, more important thing is what a problem it is as a substance in our society.
But Daly, a CPA, knows from personal experience the problem marijuana was for him.
For 30 years, I was smart enough to know that it was really a problem, but I smoked it all the time, every day, and it wasn't until I stopped smoking that I began to have a clear head about it.
$1.3 billion may look like easy money to some, but to others, the issue of marijuana is not just about state revenue. In Corte Madera, Don Knapp, CBS 5.
Witness News.
Good afternoon, I'm Juliette Goodrich. A San Francisco assemblyman wants to legalize marijuana. Anna Duckworth is in San Francisco at the State Building with more on why Tom Amiano wants to fill state coffers with a tax on pot. Anna.
Hi, Juliet. Yeah, this is really a bold move by San Francisco Assemblyman Tom Amiano. He is pushing to decriminalize and legalize marijuana, his argument being that it would get the state more than $1 billion every year and help us with our budget crisis. Now, Tom Amiano is a rookie assemblyman. Of course, he's a former San Francisco supervisor. He announced today that he's going to introduce this legislation by the end of the week that would remove nearly all of the penalties in state law against selling, buying, growing, moving, and using marijuana or its paraphernalia for anyone 21 years or older. What Amiano says is that a fee of $50 per ounce of marijuana would be charged, and there'd also be licensing fees for retail outlets to sell it. What advocates argue is that marijuana is the state's largest cash crop, making $14 billion a year, but they say this lucrative business is being handed over to criminal associations, and they estimate the taxes would bring in $1.3 billion a year for California. Now, Amiano's marijuana reform bill was actually largely written back in 2004 by a former state senator. It was never introduced, though, and Amiano talked about what's changed since then.
However, here we are 5 years later. I think we have a new administration in Washington. We have Congress people who want to address this issue. I think here in California we understand that $14 billion is something that can't be blown off.
If you look at Holland today, Holland, you can use marijuana in coffee shops. If you're 16 years of age or older, they have half the marijuana usage in Holland per capita as we do in the United States, both for adults and for teenagers. And the Minister of Health told us why. He said, we have succeeded in making pot boring.
And that was retired Orange County Superior Court Judge Jim Gray there at the end. He was one of the supporters who spoke at today's press conference. He said prohibition simply doesn't work, and that it's easier for kids to get marijuana than it is a six-pack of beer. He said his 25 years on the bench showed him that drug money is far more dangerous than the drugs themselves to children, because he said the lure of the easy money, Juliet, is what draws young people into gangs, and he also said the drug dealers recruit these young people so they can sell the products to their peers. Now this is, as I said, the first piece of legislation that Amiano is introducing as an assembly member. He was elected in November, but he says he is absolutely serious about getting this move to legalize marijuana in the state of California through Sacramento, and that bill must be introduced by Friday.
All right, Anna Duckworth in San Francisco. Anna, thank you.
Years, those operating cannabis clubs in California have lived with searches and seizures by federal drug agents. But now those agents may start respecting California's medical marijuana laws. KTVU's Rob Roth is live in San Francisco tonight to explain why. Rob?
Frank, pot clubs such as this one south of Market Street have been operating under fear of federal raids. But now it appears they can stop worrying. Here at the San Francisco Medical Cannabis Clinic off Mission Street today, Andrew Abels was smoking doctor-prescribed marijuana he says he needs to cope with a neurological disorder.
I couldn't go to school, I couldn't go to work. I might be able to do a little bit here and there, but today I'm a functioning member of society directly due to the medical use of marijuana.
Abel says he feels safe here, but while medical pot clubs are legal under state law, they violate federal statutes. And over the years, the Drug Enforcement Administration has raided and closed down clubs in San Francisco and throughout California.
They're illegal. It's against federal narcotic statutes, and we will investigate them.
But that was then. This is now. President Barack Obama said before the election he opposes using Justice Department resources to circumvent state marijuana laws. And this week, Attorney General Eric Holder added,
what he said during the campaign is now American policy.
Medical marijuana advocates read that as a signal that as long as clubs operate as not-for-profit businesses and obey state guidelines, the feds won't come and kick down the doors.
Let's not bother people who use cannabis.
At any moment, we can have the door kicked in the fear of the cops coming in and taking away our lives, you know, and arresting us because all we're doing is dispensing medicine to people. But yet we can go to jail at any moment. I mean, I fear that one day I'll go to jail for something I'm trying to do for America. And it's just a challenge for me to stand up for you every day and wish that we can have this legal for our own means and our own pressures and our own lives. A lot of times we all have that. I know the story a long time. All about reality out of the realm. I find myself wondering what the hell. Down in the cannabis club, smoking down in the cannabis club. Then I sat down and wrote another joint, twisted the end to a real fine bone. The higher and higher my mind began to drift, thanking the Lord for this medical strength. Down in the cannabis